Hello there, Appalachian Championship Wrestling fans. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be taking a look back in this episode at what is personally one of my favorite shows that Appalachian Championship Wrestling has ever done in all of the years that we've been doing these great shows. So that should say something. I'm joined now by Mike Kelly, who I believe feels about the same way about this particular show.
Oh, this show was amazing. And get it out of the way, thank you to Time Warp Ashland, and thank you to the town of Ashland, Kentucky for working with us and inviting us to entertain the people in Ashland, Kentucky. This was an awesome event.
And the name of the show?
First Friday Fights. And this was our first Friday Fights. We did it again this year. As you see, this one's taking place right in the middle of downtown Ashland. This year, due to some construction stuff going on, we were in that park, and that park was awesome too. And
both events have been super memorable.
Oh, yes.
So this show actually took place originally on Friday, July 7th, 2023. But this footage has never aired on our channels. It did air live. A local group put it on live.
I believe the name of the company was Hometown Sports,
okay.
And they deal with a lot of, high school and collegiate athletic events.
So it had their commentary and it aired live, but this is the first time that the edited match and this specific footage from our camera views has been seen. So you're getting to look at one of our favorite shows, and this just kept kind of getting pushed back because all of us were so busy at the time, and we knew that this show deserved to be its own entity. And so thanks to Rebecca Hicks for getting around to editing this and putting it together so that we can release it to you guys, because this was an unforgettable show. Just look at how big this crowd is.
Oh yeah, and everybody was fired up and excited the whole time. Loved, the card shaped up really nicely. There was a good variety of different stuff on there to keep the crowd engaged the whole night. This is one of the things, when they're as loud at the end of the show as they are at the beginning of the show, that puts
magic, electricity in the air.
Yes. It puts a good feeling in my heart. When they were as fired up the whole time. This show probably went about an hour 40. There's 6 matches, probably went about an hour 45. And to keep that level of engagement throughout the whole show, that was a really cool day in the history of this company.
And we'll get to this match in just a second, the significance of it, but want to let you know that you're going to want to stick around for this entire episode, because we've got Pillman Jr., now known as Lexis King, in the main event, coming up at the end of this show.
Yes, and what a main event. This is Josh Bishop during that first run as a heavyweight champion. He there was no gray area with him at that point. He was a straight up hardcore heel, and that was I love that era of Josh Bishop at ACW. So that'd be really fun going back to revisit that, because I haven't, in full disclosure, Nikki and I
have not watched this.
We have not watched this footage since the day it happened a year and a half ago. So thanks again to Becky Hicks. And that was a dynamic at the time. We were running, sometimes at times during the summer, 3 shows a week.
And I shot this video. I shot the video you're looking at right now. I was behind the camera, and then I think, was I editing at this point, or was it Ben editing at this point?
Ben was editing at this point.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben was fairly new to it.
Right.
And but we were, at that point, we're doing at times 3 shows a week.
Right.
And lucky to get 3 matches a month out on our YouTube channel. And so thanks again to Becky Hicks. Her hard work, dedication, tireless energy and effort, has allowed this YouTube channel and this company to grow. Thanks to it, a lot of her hard work.
And then one more highlight I want everybody to be prepared to see, and you do not want to miss, is A. Dick Vickers getting apprehended by our young fan base. And by this, I mean, like, it required an intervention.
Oh, yes, I remember going over there and intervening. I got my fingers crossed. I'm so hoping that made the final cut.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I will die if not. But like, that was the absolute most hysterical thing I've ever seen.
He got lassoed up. It was Nick Hamrick versus Cowpoke Paul. Dick Vickers was out there with Nick. And the Cowpoke's lasso, Dick Vickers got lassoed up and then was corralled. Is that the right terminology?
I mean,
by the crowd, by a bunch of kids.
I'm talking,
a bunch of, like,
they were kicking him.
Little crazy adults.
Yes. And like, I remember waving at you to come over and help because it had gotten a little out of control.
Hey, guess what? If it was anybody but Dick Vickers, I would have maybe been in a bigger hurry to get over there. But I remember thinking, like, hey, let him get a little taste of this. He likes running his mouth on them fans, so, you know, that's...
Yeah, you reap what you sow. And something else that I recall that I don't want anybody to miss is that our young fans at this ended up swarming the ring. And were like, I could barely get in to shoot the video. So that's how good this show is that it just kind of like overtook people's
it wasn't quite
sensibility.
It wasn't quite a riot, like it wasn't a kid riot like our other kid riot at the Oak Hill Run with the Devil show in 2024. But it was like the closest thing to a kid riot as you can have without having to call the law.
I think I actually had a conversation that may be audible with a child saying, "You need to get back. You're not safe," because they wouldn't stop. But that's how good the show is.
So we could go on, and we got plenty of time to talk about all that stuff that goes on. Let's give a little love to the competitors in this match.
So we've got Marino Tenaglia, who has the Super H title at this point, getting his rematch with Wes Barkley. And if you've been following our channel, you'll know that Wes Barkley had that belt for just a split second.
Yeah, he might have had it for about 20 minutes or something like that. So the backstory is Josh Bishop held simultaneously the ACW Super H title and the heavyweight title. At a certain point, he gifted the title to his tag team partner in the Rip City Shooters, Wes Barkley, and Wes lost it immediately in a scramble to Marino Tenaglia. So Wes, like in his mind, he was probably still the rightful champion, and this was his rematch, to try to recapture his ACW Super H title. That in the history of ACW, I'd say, I'm pretty sure it's the shortest title reign in ACW history. Maybe about 20 minutes, I think. Josh gifted him the title. There was another match, and then Wes come out and lost it, and that scramble to Marino.
And again, this show was back in July of 2023, and just recently in December, Marino Tenaglia lost that Super H title.
Yes. At this point, this is July. He had won it the October before, so he was
in the beginning stages of
the
his
first
defense,
8 months of his legendary 2-year and 2-month run with that ACW Super H title. And that's another record, that was going to be hard to approach or beat.
Right. So the shortest and probably the longest so far.
Yes.
Both here in the match.
Okay, that's really cool. And it's been awesome watching Marino kind of develop as a singles competitor in ACW. Did you see last Saturday in Youngstown? I wish I could have seen this. He had a singles match with Alec Price.
Oh no, I didn't.
Did you see that? Oh gosh, yes, that was I might have to throw down a couple bucks, go out of our way to see that one. I saw some highlights, it looked amazing. But this match right here was amazing. You could hear these fans getting into it.
Both of these competitors just very good.
Oh,
just very, very good.
So there, Marino Tenaglia with the 3. We got some young fans getting into it. Marino Tenaglia with the successful defense of that ACW Super H title against the man who laid claim to being the former champion, incontroversial. Wes's title reign, very controversial. But, this match here kind of laid to rest any claims that Wes had for that title. And Marino Tenaglia was off to the races.
All right, we're back now for another exciting match featuring some faces that you haven't seen for a bit, but also some faces that have really become mainstays here at ACW. One being Hardway Holloway, another being Corey Sparks, and of course Jayce and Hendrix.
Yeah, this was not Hardway. Oh, love watching Jayce and
Hendrix in his prime with
a boa. A boa. Is that what you call them things?
Yeah.
That's what they always call. Well, Jesse Ventura, Jesse the Body would wear those in the WWE. That's what he called it. He's like, my boa. Jayce and Hendrix is awesome seeing some of his early footage of him. Jayce Karr, we haven't seen him for a while in ACW, but definitely, a mainstay here for years. You know what I mean? It's always cool seeing Jayce Karr, and it's cool going back in time, seeing some Jayce Karr.
Oh, there's Becky Hicks.
Oh, yeah, speaking of Becky, let's give it a shout out to Becky. And we're always speaking of Becky. She's getting some videos. She's just like doing it from the comfort of her seat right now. Yes. Instead of running and gunning. And there's Hardway Holloway. And this was his debut in Ashland. And I'd have to go back and check. This was not his ACW debut, but this was one of his first several, if not his second appearance in ACW. So very early on in Hardway Holloway's run in Appalachian Championship Wrestling, and how far he's come in a short period of time.
Yeah.
WWE. It is okay.
Okay, I remember this now.
Anthony Catena, and he was a pleasure to work with too. And Anthony Catena, he's like kind of a road warrior in the independent wrestling scene. At this point, he was living in this area and working with Ohio Valley Wrestling. We was able to get him on a couple shots, at this one, and then we were able to use him at Putnam County Fair.
And he made a great impression on me. You meet people and you don't know them necessarily, but then when he got into the ring, I was impressed with how good he was at
his in-ring action and his interaction with the fans.
Yeah.
Anthony Catena, he's no longer living in the area, so you haven't got to use him for a while.
And Corey Sparks, man, what a long way he's come since then. Corey Sparks, of course, now part of a tag team with Cowpoke Paul.
Yeah, Suplex Country, who've recently unified the Bluegrass tag team titles at the ACW tag titles to become the ACW Undisputed Unified Tag Team Champions. Him and his partner, Cowpoke Paul. But here's Corey. He was still, kind of rocking it solo at this point, and doing his thing. I love those little balloon hats with those guys. Did you see that?
Yeah.
These kids was having a blast that day.
Jayce and Hendrix perpetually in a bad mood. This was no exception. Everyone else having a lovely time, enjoying the lovely weather and the warmth and being together. And then Jayce and Hendrix is there just, grump ass as always.
Language, man. Yes, he can be a little grump bleep at times, but we love Jason. And as many of you may know, Jason, currently rehabbing from a pretty serious leg injury. At the time of his injury, he was one half of the ACW tag champs with his partner Gorgeous Gregory, and we're just can't wait to see Jason Hendrix healed up and ready to throw down again in Appalachian Championship Wrestling. Hopefully that's sooner or later. If you're out there, Jason, we love you, miss you. You know, maybe breaking kayfabe a little bit there, you know, like that.
I'm going to give you a hand gesture that I think Jason Hendrix would be giving you if he knew.
Oh, goodness, Nikki. That's not appropriate. That's definitely not appropriate. Okay.
They can't see us.
Okay, right.
They can't see us.
Okay, the hand.
It might have been the heart symbol, or it might have been the number 11 on two hands.
So,
I don't know.
So, yeah, since nobody could see what she just did, the hand gesture she just gave me in regard to her feelings about Jason Hendrix is also known in circles as the West Virginia Howdy.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard it called that?
Probably in Kentucky, too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I think, you know, these parts of Kentucky and these parts of West Virginia, not really all that different.
No.
You know, these communities in Kentucky, very similar to communities in West Virginia that you and I grew up in.
We're very loving folk, but I don't think that Jason Hendrix wants your love.
No.
I really would venture to say
he obviously wants the opposite. He wants them boos and them jeers. You know what I mean? Like, and if he don't, he's going back the wrong way.
That's his fuel for life.
Oh yeah, but this is awesome. Seeing Hardway when he first started out with us, Hendrix towards the beginning of his run with us, Jayce Karr, you know, a throwback, you know, in the ACW, and then Corey Sparks, who has done a lot of work for ACW, but seeing him at this stage of his career
grow and evolve, and just you know, to be able to follow him through his career has been really cool.
And then Anthony Catena, I remember you asking about him. There's been fans asked about him, like, hey, like that guy was great. You know, any chance seeing him back, and like, we would love to have Anthony Catena back at any point in time. You know, unfortunately, you know, due to, you know, like budgets and travel expenses and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Haven't been able to hook that up for a while, but hey, never say never.
Right, if he passes through, let us hit us up.
2025, I'd love to see Anthony Catena back at ACW. Yeah. You know, he was a pleasure to deal with, and got himself over super big, considering he just appeared for us twice, and still people to this day asking about him.
Yeah.
And I mean, with that kind of athleticism that he has on display right now, I mean, no wonder that's the reason he made a big impression.
Right.
And that's the reason people still ask about it today. Like, what a talented young man. Love to see him back someday, but you know, so hey, follow indie wrestling. There's all kinds of awesome indie wrestling companies out there, which if you're watching this video, you're probably
into it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So this was, of course, downtown in Ashland, right in the middle of the road. I don't know if that's clear by looking at it, but it's...
Yeah, they shut down the Main Street, Ashland, Kentucky for this. And, this isn't just a wrestling show. This is a part of a big First Friday celebration.
There was a car show going on near here. You can see there's, like, food trucks going on. And, of course, there were lots of activities and everything this day, too. And got to really enjoy some of the, like, Main Street type... let's pause for this.
Oh, yeah. This guy gets some air. Look at it. Oh, my. Just wiping everybody out. Taking everybody out right in the middle of Main Street of Ashland, Kentucky, Dickie.
No give on that, because it's literally, there's a double yellow line there. So
right in the middle of the road.
Yeah, literally.
Right in the middle of the road.
I was going to say, while we were getting ready for the show, like, I took a walk and got to check out Ashland's Main Street, went to a bookstore that's right near there, picked up a book, went to, like, a coffee shop right there, got some coffee, and they've just got a really great downtown there.
Well, and if I can say this about Ashland, Kentucky, we all like our chains and, like stuff like that, but we all also like to support our local businesses. And one thing about downtown Ashland, Kentucky, they have a bunch of really cool. Local businesses that have been in operation for some time. You know, and that's a good thing. You know, it's a good gauge of the community to me. Is like, do they support their local businesses? Do they have something to make their community unique from everybody else's? And Ashland, a very unique and cool, awesome town and community that's has made a big impression on both of us.
One of those local businesses being Time Warp.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Time Warp. Yeah, one of those local businesses being Time Warp Ashland, run by Earl Moulette. Love that guy. He has done so much for Appalachian Championship Wrestling. You know, so much to elevate this company. You know, and so props to Earl. Billy down at Time Warp's always been awesome. All those guys at Time Warp, you know, it's while we're thinking about it, thank you to you guys, you know, for all that you guys have done and continue to do for us.
And for being just wrestling fans yourselves, and wanting to bring that to the community. Because you could tell by the number of people sitting around the ring that there is they're hungry for this.
There's definitely a market for pro wrestling in Ashland, Kentucky. Yes, and I was very proud to be part of bringing this type of hard-hitting action to Ashland.
To help satiate a thirst for it from fans that just seem to just really love it. And who doesn't want to spend, you know, an afternoon outside in July watching great wrestling?
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's oh, look at that. And here comes, you got Anthony. Oh,
wow.
He gets air. Yeah, that's one of the things I remember about him.
And
when he
large.
takes a dive, yeah, he ain't a little dude.
No.
You know what I mean? He ain't a little dude. But when he takes a dive, buddy, he gets some air on that. Then, Hendrix. Look at that bump. On that DDT, Anthony Catena's head just bounced off the mat. Then here you got Big Sam, Hardway, Holloway with that drop kick. And he's new. He's a rookie at this point. But, I mean, you look at this and it's no wonder. He's, become what he has become is Big Sam with the 3 count. The big win for Sam Holloway at First Friday Fights 2023, Ashland, Kentucky.
All right, we'll be right back. You don't want to miss one single match on this show. All right, we're back now with a women's match involving Mika, who at the time was Nurse Mika, and Arie Alexander. And this was, if I remember correctly, a pretty hard-hitting, exciting match, but maybe one of our lackeys got a little embarrassed.
I think that's being addressed right here. Let's listen to this. So
maybe some humble pie being served
to that ring announcer. Does he look familiar to you?
It's that same guy that was embarrassing and problematic at our Logan show.
Yes, I think. Yeah, he got fired from camera duty. I think after announcing Arie Alexander's name incorrectly, he got booted from ring announcing duties and was booted from camera duties pretty shortly thereafter.
What's left?
Well, I occasionally see that dude running around sweeping stuff up.
That's probably for the best.
Which, I don't know, that may even be above his level of expertise.
But, you know, we saw that Arie Alexander was ripping him a new one, I'll say, with not all the description.
Justifiably so.
But you said she was pleasant.
So I personally went after the show and apologized to Arie for that because she was, appeared extremely miffed about that, as she should be. Any professional ring announcer would have made for daggone sure that they pronounce somebody's name correctly, but she was very gracious and very nice and very sweet, at least that exchange. I mean, you can tell she's not always in a good mood, but and like we like to do, you try to take a negative and turn it into a positive, and she was like, oh no, that was fine, I was able to get heel heat off of it. And I was like, okay, there's a glasses half full type of person.
Right.
And it was awesome. It's the only time that we've had the opportunity to work with Arie, and it was awesome getting her in an Appalachian Championship Wrestling ring. Would love to see her back at some point, because she is one of the top independent wrestling talents in the country, doing big things. And it's, great to see some of these top level independent wrestlers come in and ply their trade in the Appalachian Championship Wrestling ring.
And speaking of people doing big things, Mika has really become a mainstay, not just with us, but in this area in general, and just really has had a way of getting the fans behind her.
Mika, one of the crowd favorites of Appalachian Championship Wrestling. At this point, it's hard to imagine running an ACW show without her. There's been a couple times during, she's on vacation, going around, she's in high demand, and we have her as often as we can, but when we don't have her on the card, it's like, oh my gosh, we need a Mika, we need some Mika on this thing, so. And
she has since this dominated the women's wrestling scene in West Virginia in its entirety.
Yes. At this point, ACW did not have a women's title, and it was a year or so after this we crowned our inaugural women's champion, Mika, who still holds it to this day.
And it was in Kentucky, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was, she won the title in Catlettsburg, Kentucky, just a little round the way here from Ashland, in that awesome Catlettsburg convention hall. Oh, what a building! Hopefully we'll be back there this year too. Speaking of going back, I've heard some rumors. Looks like we're going to be back in Ashland, Kentucky for another First Friday Fights. First Friday Fights 2025. That's looking to be a thing in 2025, our third First Friday.
And 2 years back to back, this has been one of yours and I's favorite shows of the whole year. And so that is one that you're going to absolutely want to pencil into the calendar, set an alert on your phone.
Yeah. As soon as we have a date, we'll pass it along to you Appalachian Championship Wrestling fans. Can't quite do that yet, but be looking for announcements for our entire 2025 schedule coming very soon.
And that is a great reason to be sure that you have liked and followed our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram, because we're all the time churning out the information you need to know about upcoming shows there. And then, if you're not in the area or for some, crazy reason can't make it, you want to like and subscribe our YouTube channel as well, so that you can watch these matches as they come out.
Well, yeah, definitely. I know we hammer this constantly. Liking and subscribing on our YouTube channel really helps our stuff, so any of you guys that are doing that to help us out, we seriously appreciate it.
And feel free to comment, stuff like that. It's always good to hear from you, and we really love to see where people are watching from. So if you're watching this now and want to head to the comments and tell us what part of the United States or what part of the world you're watching from, please do that.
Well, and let me say this, I think one of the reasons that ACW is gaining kind of a national, worldwide audience is because of the talent that we use.
Right.
You know, I mean, you look at this match, you know, it's two of the top independent women's wrestlers in the country. You look all up and down this card. One of the things when I talk to Moose, you know, is we're working to put these shows together to be as entertaining as possible. Is like a lot of these shows, it's like this one included, it's like, hey, we could put this show on anywhere in the country, and these athletes are over. You know, these matches will get over. Like, I mean, I feel in my heart that this card, you know, and we could run this card in Chicago,
and people would still enjoy it.
Yes. And you know, but that is, you know, in my opinion, you know, nothing against, you know, your small regional indies, you know, but our dream is to be a little something more than that, you know. So nothing against that. But when you see Appalachian Championship Wrestling, you're seeing some of the top independent wrestlers, not just in the Appalachian region, but in the world.
Speaking of that, we've got a huge show coming up in the Cincinnati area.
Oh, yeah, I mean, to say that I'm fired up about this Cincinnati debut would be the understatement of the year. I mean, you look at this thing, you know, it's like kind of mind-boggling. Blows my mind that we've come this far. You know, you're looking at this flyer, Mick Foley, Jake the Snake's on it. You know, like, wow, you know, we're going to have Matt Riddle in action. Enzo Amore returns to ACW. Yeah, definitely check out our social media, our Facebook and Instagram, for the most up-to-date announcements about this blockbuster show. Is going to be one of the biggest things we've ever done.
It goes to show that, like you were saying, you know, we can put these cards together and run these shows on a, you know, regional scale right now, and they're just as good.
Oh yeah, I you know, a card like this, I would put it up against basically anything. You know, but that's not me being big-headed for myself. That is the amount of confidence I have in our locker room, in our talent. Oh, Mika. So, but yeah, Mika, what a pleasure it's been dealing with her. Arie Alexander, you know, she's just as long as you get her name right, you know, she's also, just kidding, Arie, she is an absolute pleasure to work with too. Oh, look at that big knee for Mika. Arie is like, okay, and then clamping on that arm bar. Okay, submission from Arie Alexander. Another big win for, at the time, Nurse Mika.
All right, welcome back for a match that we alluded to at the beginning that you're not going to want to miss. This one is Cowpoke Paul versus Nick Hamrick, escorted to the ring by A. Dick Vickers, who's about to find out.
Yeah. And this is very early on in the ACW run of both Nick Hamrick and Cowpoke Paul. And Nick Hamrick had performed in this area before. This was Cowpoke Paul's ACW Ashland debut. And as you can tell, like, and one of the things that we love about Cowpoke Paul, like, if you are not familiar with Cowpoke, going in to it, you're going, at the end of the night, you will remember this guy. You know, look at him getting over, and I actually could getting over the way only Cowpoke Paul can do. Oh, and then here come those guys mocking him, square dancing a little bit, you know, run their mouth like they like to do. Cowpoke, more the type that lets his actions speak for themselves. Unlike Dick Vickers, who, you know, that mouth never quits on Dick Vickers, Nick.
Yep, you can't let him anywhere near a microphone. or the match is going to end up being about 45 minutes long.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But these guys are great, and it's at this point, Nick's still relatively new to ACW, but as Cowpoke Paul is, but they made a big impression in a short time, and it's awesome, And here we are, about a year and a half later, and those are two champions.
Both of them have had gold around their waists.
Cowpoke Paul and Corey Sparks unified the tag titles. They're the unified ACW and Bluegrass tag champs. And then Nick Hamrick, who we were talking about earlier, this legendary Super H title run of Marino Tenaglia. Nick Hamrick was the guy that ended that reign last December in Oak Hill, West Virginia.
Oh, there's Dick Vickers getting.
Oh, he's got lassoed up. And look, okay, these kids. Yeah, this is what we was talking about. This got a little out of control here, and at some point,
those kids were really taking their job assigned to them by Cowpoke.
Very, very seriously. Yeah. Well, here's the deal. You got to run your mouth on the good people of Ashland, Kentucky, like Dick Vickers did. You better watch your back, and like I don't think he'd make that mistake again. I mean, he'll never quit running his mouth, but he won't turn his back on these fans again after this day. And I guess we're not really. There was a little bit of.
I'm chasing it.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. And there we go. Look at him beating on him, kicking on him and stuff. Oh, that was awesome. Look at him. He's getting, well, shoot. I really enjoyed that exchange with Dick Vickers and the fans. But, I mean, there's some cool stuff going on in the ring, too.
I mean, I really think that it's still ongoing, probably.
Oh, yeah. I think our ring announcer security guy, was put on task of having to break that up. By the time he got down there, they had drug him halfway down the street.
The sidewalk,
yeah.
Yeah, I imagine I was conflicted about what to put the camera toward.
Oh, yeah. So much stuff going on at this point, But, so you got Cowpoke there and Nick. They're throwing down. People's fired up, beating on the managers. Like, I'd say, everybody's having a good time at this point except for Dick Vickers. But, that's what you get.
And I wanted to point out Cowpoke Paul also, in the time after this, had been the international champion for a moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cowpoke Paul was the one to defeat Chris Cannon in Chris Cannon's second international title reign, Cowpoke Paul, in June of 2024. That was his first championship in ACW. And now he's working on his second title reign in ACW. And here's another little fun fact. Cowpoke Paul, where he's been concentrating on the tag team division lately, we haven't brought this up for a while. Cowpoke Paul, to this day, still undefeated in singles competition in ACW. So, that is...
And he's a frequent competitor, so that really tells you something about his abilities and how just absolutely dominant he has been in singles action at ACW.
Yes. And another thing about Cowpoke, it's being really cool watching him raise his game and raise his fame and his, to parts of the country. Seeing him popping in on some of these big indies. And he's coming out, people already know who he is. He's being a road warrior. He's being hard at it, busting his butt all over to get himself over. And, that's another example of hard work paying off. You're really seeing Cowpoke Paul, at this point, moving up to the upper tier of independent wrestling superstars.
And in addition to his abilities as a competitor, he also has a natural charisma that really leaves a lasting impression on people.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that's, you know, he's a full package. You know, he can engage and entertain, but also, you know, bell to bell, you know, one of the best on the independent circuit, Cowpoke Paul. Oh, Cowpoke Paul with the victory over Nick Hamrick. And that was a heck of a match. I'm having so much fun going back and watching the show now. Alright, this is Mike Kelly. We're back here at Ashland, Kentucky. First Friday Fights 2023. And we got a big 6-man match here.
The sun's starting to set just a little bit.
And here comes the franchise players. You got Shane Storm and Riddick. Chris Cannon. And the franchise Shane Douglas.
Be a treat for a lot of people to see Shane Storm back in the ring.
Okay, Shane Douglas got the mic. Let's see what he has to say.
I heard a lot of great things about this town. Heard people having a lot of fun here. Had a great street fair. I gotta tell you, it's pretty nice. Not bad at all. But between me and you, it ain't Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The franchise and the franchise players comes to a place like this. Where the hell was the red carpet? Where the hell's the fireworks? The streamers? No, only the Japanese and Philadelphia fans know how to do that. Let me give you a history lesson on who I am. City called the City of Champions, Pittsburgh, by God, Pennsylvania. Now don't get jealous, but I know you've heard of them. The Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Hey guys, how about picking up? How about he's something else, ain't he? You guys got something like picking, don't you? Not so much. How about somebody by the name of Larry Zbyszko? An Olympic gold medalist named Kurt Angle. Dominic DiNucci. The living legend Bruno Sammartino. And the greatest wrestling champion of them all, the franchise Shane Douglas. So the next time somebody like me comes to a town like yours and it ain't called Pittsburgh, you make damn sure you all get to your feet. Give me the respect I've earned. And then sit down and get ready to learn a lesson, because we got a hell of a trick up our sleeve. By the way, I understand, I don't know if you guys heard this. You might not even have to work now. We might just have to get our hands raised, because rumor has it, a little birdie sang into my ear that one of their partners had a little car trouble.
A little car trouble?
Just a smidge. Just a little bit of a smidge. I hear they didn't quite make it into town because they had car trouble. So if you want to bring them on out here now, Mr. Referee, man, you can do that. You can ring the bell if you want, not ring the bell, but you can right afterwards raise our hands.
Okay, well, that was an earful, as it usually is when you're listening to the franchise Shane Douglas.
Chris Cannon, of course, having to insult our fans.
Giving the fans an earful, but then the fans, giving Chris Cannon an earful right back.
And they only got 2. Get him out here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Shane letting that goof have it. I'm happy somebody's giving him an earful. All right, and here comes DDTrash. Nikki, you're very aware of DDTrash in addition to being former ACW tag champs, in addition to being former Bluegrass tag champs, in addition to winning all these tag team titles around the region and around the country. These guys were recently given the Tag Team of the Decade award by ACW owner Chris Hughes, a.k.a. Moose.
Definitely a title that is well deserved. DDTrash, just a remarkable tag team.
And very versatile, as you're seeing Bruce, showing some of his versatility.
We've got the mayor of the trailer park kissing babies. doing what mayors do.
Okay, Ronnie's got the mic. I think he's got a thing or two to say about this situation, and then when he's done one, we'll unpack it.
I have been wanting to say this to you since I was 9 years old. Shut the hell up! At least you used to be extreme. All you are now is extremely annoying. Shut up, Mr. Clean.
All right, referee Cameron's definitely got his hands full in this contest. As you got the... Oh, sorry, Ronnie.
Being I've ever met. She was my aunt, and you knew she was my aunt, and you did it anyway. Oh, man said he'd be here. Now on to tonight. You look at me when I'm talking to you, sumhead. Go ahead, I'm too old for that insult. This was supposed to be a trios match. Us and our tag team partner, Zaiden Kayne, taking on these 3 dummies. But Brucey, what's going on? What happened? You know, I see a lot of good-looking people in this city, but I don't see Zaiden Kayne. Where is he? I don't see him. I see 3 bozos, actually 4 bozos. 4 bozos. 4 bozos. But no Zaiden Kayne. So Ronnie, what do you suggest we do about this predicament? The first suggestion I have is we need to get to the bottom of this. Zaiden Kayne is a super professional wrestler. It's not like he hit the road with a car that wasn't legal. So I want to know, franchise, fess up to all these people. Be honest, for the first time in your life, I think you had something to do with this. The man said he did.
I would do something like that. It wasn't my fault he had a little bit of car trouble, right? Just a smidge of car trouble. Just a smidge, yeah. Maybe, what do you get, like a scratch down the side?
got a scratch down the side.
Or better yet, maybe this one. Maybe he couldn't get one of those Kentucky air freshener dances up on the top of the counter.
Can't get an air freshener. It starts stinking. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Quit later. Tell all these people the truth.
go. So, yeah, as you may have gathered from, listening to these guys on the mic, so this match is for the... Oh, Ronnie's got the mic again, sorry.
All right, the microphone has been handed to the doof.
Yeah,
so
we're going to go ahead and keep rolling if they get on it again. Yeah.
Right.
So the background to this, as you may gather from listening to these guys on the mic, this match is for the Vacant ACW 6-man tag team titles. And you got Shane Douglas, Chris Cannon, and Shane Storm going up against, it was supposed to be DDTrash of Ron Mathis and Bruce Gray, teaming with Zaiden Kayne. Zaiden Kayne had some transportation issues, as you heard Shane allude to, that those issues may or may not have been...
the origins of those are open for debate.
Yes, a very hot debate.
Yeah.
And so, that would give, the franchise players a 3-on-2 advantage. And if you count Reddick, that's in their corner, a 4-on-2 advantage. So, that's but, Nikki, me and you know who won this, but we won't give away anything for some of you fans that may be watching this for the first time.
I mean, if any two fellas could step in the ring at this disadvantage, and meet them toe to toe, it's definitely Ron Mathis and Bruce Gray.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
It's hard to even call them an underdog in that situation because they are so function so well as a team.
Yes. And you have, so right here, as the franchise players have evolved over time, initially, you had Shane Douglas team up with Shane Storm and Seth Martin with Betty D in the corner. And you had Shane Douglas was the heavyweight champion. Shane Storm and Seth were the tag champs. That was the first version of the franchise players. And at this point, Chris Cannon was still relatively new to the group. He had him and Shane. Chris Cannon was a baby face in Appalachian Championship Wrestling. Went to war with Shane, and Chris Cannon, former ACW heavyweight champion. That's the guy that Shane defeated for that title, Chris Cannon. And so, these guys, they went to war with each other, but as oftentimes happens in the world of wrestling, you go to battle with somebody enough times, you're going to gain a respect for that person, in a professional sense, if not, personal feeling side. But I'll say this: Chris Cannon and Shane, from the period where they started teaming on, like Cannon, I would say Shane's most loyal soldier. I'd say, Chris Cannon go through thick and thin with Shane, and as Chris Cannon now recovers from an ankle injury, we wish him the best. Take care of yourself. We can't wait to see you back, Chris. It's breaking kayfabe, pulling the curtain back a little bit again. But Chris Cannon, he might not be that bad of a guy as we let on at times. All right.
Sometimes the company you keep influences how you are perceived.
Yes.
So, I did want to take a minute to bring up why this title was vacant.
Oh, yes. So, for any of you long-time hardcore ACW fans may be aware, the first inaugural ACW six-man tag team champions was a team by the name of the Swarm, led by the mysterious Black Scorpion. And the Swarm, as we go forward in Appalachian Championship Wrestling, we were talking earlier, we use some of these top indie talents, and the Swarm, they have allegedly moved on to bigger and better things, and they couldn't be they couldn't be bothered to defend the tag titles, and so the ACW's six-man titles were stripped from the Swarm so they could pursue other interests. And this was for the vacated titles here. So that's why the title is vacant here. And instead of doing a tournament this time, we'd been through a big tournament with the Swarm. It's like, hey, let's put our two best six-man, our two best teams in there. Championship committee chose DDTrash and Zaiden and the franchise players, and so that's what we're looking at here. This is for the vacant ACW six-man tag titles.
And it's really important when you are in this situation with so much on the line to keep a level head and remain calm and so forth. And props to Ron Mathis and Bruce Gray for doing so, remaining calm under pressure and not letting it get to them. But if I remember correctly, this day, the pressure got to you a little bit.
Oh, yes.
As you were.
Yes.
So, the award, so to speak, that was on the line for this match was a trophy.
At the time, current fans of ACW are familiar with the six-man tag title belts that we had.
Right. But at the time,
it was a trophy, and it was a big old beautiful trophy. And so
was it a repurposed trophy, or was it a?
It was not bought. Okay, this is so it was. I think it was original. It was a wrestling trophy, and it was a big old beautiful trophy, and it was about as tall as you.
Right.
If you remember,
I'm 5'3",
and it had a wrestler on the top of it. But
right.
I'm not. Moose, he's done quite a bit of. There was a 5-year period of ACW that me and you were not involved in, and so yes, I'm thinking that may have been a repurposed trophy.
I just feel that's valid. That is valid to understand with this story is that it may or may not have been also hanging on by a thread, as were you when I encountered you at the vehicle in the midst of a problem. An insurmountable problem.
So, here's the deal. So these shows, we run all over the place.
Right.
Different dynamics to every place that we run. We've run parks. We've run parking lots. We've run gyms. And everything in between. Cafeterias, okay? We've run all kinds, and every dynamic is a little different. And so they had the main street of Ashland, Kentucky blocked off. There was no traffic, and so the parking wasn't ideal for
moving stuff.
But it was like, hey, you do what you can, given the situation, you make the best of it. You get through it one way or another, right? So I had to go. My car was parked, probably a couple blocks away from where this event was taking place, and I went down. anybody who's been involved in the world of independent wrestling knows how hectic these things can get. And so at some point I was given the trophy. It's like, hey, put this in your trunk of your car. And I had, you know, somebody's like, you know, you bring your own chairs. Somebody's like, bring your own chairs. I usually keep a couple of those in my vehicle in the summertime. I never know when I want to go to a nephew's ball game, you know, or whatever kind of outdoor event. It's nice to keep those in the car. So the trophy got packed in there on top of a couple of these, chairs, and some other wrestling odds and ends, you know, the bell, whatnot, you know, on top of it. And when it came time to remove the trophy had got tangled up in a bunch of stuff, and I attempted to the best of my ability to remove it. And I was down there by myself at the time. Did you pop in at some point on that, or
I think
you popped after me?
I arrived when the meltdown was already in progress.
So I'm doing my very best to get this trophy out, and it's just hard to describe how tangled up all this stuff had gotten in my trunk. As this big old trophy got put on top of these, and then a bunch of other stuff got put on top of it. And these trophies are somewhat, anybody who's seen one of these trophies is like 4 or 5 feet tall. Like, they're made to where there's like some string inside of it.
Right, there's like a series of like screws and whatever that go all the way through it.
Yes, a somewhat complex, you know. It doesn't seem that complex until it gets tangled up with everything else in your trunk.
Anyway, tell us what happened to it.
I'm trying to remove it, and I'm like having a nervous breakdown. I need to be back up there. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I was like, okay, I'll be right back and get the trophy. The trophy got tangled up and stuff. I'm doing my best to get it out of there. Break the trophy. Break this trophy that was the centerpiece of this match. It was the centerpiece of our, the trios tag division, if you will. And so I remember like going up there and just being defeated. And going up there, and I had the pieces. That's probably about when you see me when I was walking up the street with the pieces of.
I was gonna say, I just want to be clear that it wasn't like a finger was broken off the hand of the wrestler on top of it. The thing essentially just disintegrated into like a pile of despair.
If it wasn't such a traumatic experience, I would have maybe thought to take some pictures of it to document. But some of this stuff you just want to forget and not document. And it's been nice, like ripping off this scab from this old PTSD incident in my life. No, seriously, I was fine as soon. But I was like, I knew Moose was going to be disappointed because he really liked that trophy. And I like the trophy too. Everybody else has belts for other champions. I was like, oh, this will set it apart. This will be kind of cool. We got a trophy for the 6-man titles. And I remember, and where the trophy also worked was, long-term wrestling things. You remember the 6-man title wars between the Von Erichs and the Freebirds. That was over the 6-man trophy too. So it seemed very appropriate, given this. But so I went up there and I told Moose, I'm like, I broke a trophy. And I remember him looking at me like, how do you break a trophy? Explained to him how I got tangled up, and he's seen how bad I took it, and didn't pick on me no further. Right. Okay, and so what I think you got going on here is you have the franchise players have become the second ACW. They don't have any belts or any trophies, thanks to me. Right. But this was the beginning of that big run with the franchise players with the 6-man titles. Ronnie, a little issue with the officiating. Let's see what he has to say about this. I'm kind of remember how this went down. I think everybody is going to like how this all turns out. Much love to referee Cameron, but sometimes it is what it is.
Outside the ring, you can't see everything. But these beautiful people, all of these beautiful people, they can see everything. And see it. You've been presented with all the evidence. I'm going to give you one last chance. Will you restart this match? I've already made my decision. I guess that means... Hold on, guys. Give the guy a break. Hold on. I guess that means there's just one thing to do.
Brian Pillman Jr. Today, you're coming to ACW to challenge the champion, the intense icon Joshua Bishop, the man that's never been pinned, never been defeated, never submitted. I've been the champion for over a year, and you think what? You're gonna come in here into my house, into my territory, and take my heavyweight title from me? Pillman Jr. I'm sorry, I don't care who your dad is, but you're gonna have to learn the hard way, the thing that everyone else has learned when they've stepped up to the intense icon. So when you go in the ring with the intense icon Joshua Bishop, I'm taking you down exit 187, and that means there's no survivors, and that includes you, Pillman Jr. I'm coming with the title, and I'm leaving with the title.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the main event? I said, are you ready for the main event? This next match is for the ACW heavyweight title. Introducing first, the challenger, Blind Pillman Jr. Introducing the ACW heavyweight champion, the intense icon, Josh Bishop. That I know not to hit anybody under 3 feet tall. You're lucky I can't hit somebody under 3 feet tall.
I remember that young man, Nicky. He had a little program going with Josh Bishop in the Ashland area. You remember? He's like, remember me, Josh? Bring it on. That kid's a lot of fun.
A brave little feller
Yes.
going toe to toe with Josh Bishop.
Well, I'm sure
With
you know-
confidence.
absolutely. So what we got here, what a main event, and this is one like we'll run this one back in 10 years,
Right.
And look where these guys are at 10 years from now. This is a heck of a matchup. You could headline any independent wrestling card with a matchup like this, and that's one of the reasons I'm so proud of what we do and what Moose allows us to be a part of here at Appalachian Championship Wrestling. And, this is during the that initial Josh Bishop, as you could tell, he wasn't having no part of nobody clapping or cheering for him.
As he's interacting with Rebecca and her
posse.
family. Yeah.
And
So.
And the other thing, Flying Brian Pillman Jr., a.k.a., everybody knows him on TV now on NXT. He's doing big things as Lexis King. He was one when, from the get-go of when we started working on Moose, he was one that, we wanted to get on a show because you knew big things was going to happen with this guy. When there would be a finite amount of time to where he would be available to us, right?
Right.
And there was, there were multiple times stuff come close, but these guys that we like to use, everybody else likes to use them too because they're good. And so, it just didn't work out. And so when we were able to sign the deal for him coming down for First Friday Fights, it just timed out to where he was not available a very short time after this. I don't know if he'd already been signed. Sometimes they'll sign you to start date to let you finish off your
dates,
independent bookings. And it was pretty cool. There was somebody we always wanted to use, and we were able to use him, and it was if we hadn't got him on this show, it wouldn't have went down.
And what better opponent than Joshua Bishop? Square up against.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You got an ultimate. His Pillman Jr.'s character on the Indies, more of a baby face. He may have some other leanings, with his current character, but it's the ultimate baby face against the ultimate heel.
I loved this moment. There's wrestling action figures that were in this chair, and Pillman sat down in the chair and had the action figures holding them up.
I remember that, and I remember maybe even there was a photo circulating of that too. I remember that was a really cool moment for the fan interaction. But yeah, look at this backdrop, and that's something, so we've done 2 First Friday Fights. This one, was in the Main Street downtown. The second one was in that beautiful park that they had.
In the middle of the rainstorm.
The rainstorm, that was a crazy day. The rainstorm finished up literally 10 minutes, and it was a torrential, it was causing floods in the area.
Right.
It was a rainstorm. We had the ring already up, fortunately, and that thing come through, but then it left the area just as fast, literal minutes before the bell time.
And like we were saying, these shows 2 years in a row have been one of the absolute highlights of ACW's year. And so you want to make sure that you like and follow our Facebook and Instagram and everything, and be sure that you are completely aware of when this is coming up, because you do not want to miss it.
Oh yeah, schedule. It's as we sit here now taping this commentary. It's early in 2025. I'd say here we the past couple of years it's in the maybe early part of the spring, you're going to get a big old
flood of dates. Yes,
flood of dates. Yeah, and so just keep on checking out our stuff. Make plans to see ACW live. You're going to get to see people like this on the card. Superstars before they made it on TV, and then some of the superstars that have recently been on TV. A good mix of up and coming talent, veteran talent. Nationally known independent wrestlers, the best on the regional scene. I'm very proud of what we do, and I want everybody to have an opportunity to experience it live. But yeah, going back to Ashland, Kentucky, the backdrop of this show, I just remember just being like, wow, you know, what a cool and unique backdrop. On this side, you know, you have this storefront apartments. You know, you see some of these like taller buildings, and then you got the church on the other side. What a cool backdrop for an independent wrestling show.
I believe we're starting to see the young fans coming unglued a little bit, very invested in this match. And you'll see as the match goes on, they get progressively
rowdier.
Yes.
Oh yeah, these little guys. He's fans of Ashland, Kentucky, of all ages, getting into it. You know, it's awesome. It's music to my ears.
Yeah.
When you hear people hooting and hollering, having a good time. Oh yeah, those guys definitely are. That kind of stuff. That's what makes all this hard work worthwhile. You know, and that's talk to ACW owner Moose. He feels the same way about it. Anybody involved in independent wrestling, you know,
that's what it's all about, right?
You're
there.
doing it for the love. Yes, you're doing it for the love. You know, there's without pulling the curtain back again, ain't a whole lot of money in indie wrestling.
Right.
You're doing it for the love of the game.
And this particular show, you know, we saw some challenges leading into it and some subtractions, you know, that, you know, we had to adjust to, but ultimately, just like any recipe that you put together, sometimes those ingredients that you thought that you were going to have, leaving them out, you learn that it tastes even better. So
yes, without getting too further into that would be exactly. There was a few factors going on this day, and it's like a couple people couldn't, you know, a couple maybe scheduling conflicts or whatever.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, you know, this thing actually ended up better.
Right.
You know, like
the cookie tastes better if you don't overwhelm the chocolate with extra ingredients, because you can actually taste the flavors you needed to taste. And so
when you talk about these fans, watch these fans beating on the mat, getting into it.
Obviously, you know, able to be resilient and bring this wonderful product to these folks, and I guarantee you these kids will remember this day for the duration of their life, and the day that they saw Brian Pillman Jr. in person, the day they saw Josh Bishop in person, and when they're you know, in line for autographs with their kids years from now, they're going to remember this day. And it'll be remember when.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And great wrestling fans in Ashland, Kentucky. You know, and it's the dynamic at ACW is a little different than most other indie companies. Like we don't have like a building that we run every month.
Right.
You know, we run all over the region, and you know, a lot of these areas, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And in Ashland, you know, it's been like that. I think maybe we run 4 at one, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 times in Ashland. But it's made me feel really good about the hard work we put in, because seeing a lot of those same faces showing up, because you know they enjoyed what we're doing.
Right, and how excited they are to have us back, and how much they look forward to the shows that we put on.
Yeah, that's why we do it. And what a match this was and stuff, and what a day. You know, can't wait to come back to Ashland. You know, like we were saying, like keep on checking our Facebook, Instagram. You know, that's when you're going to find the most up-to-date announcements about our shows. And speaking of, you know, one last shout out, in March, making our Cincinnati debut with a blockbuster show.
That's one you cannot miss. You have to be at it.
Yeah, we got let's see. I had off the top of my head, I wrote it down, ladies and gentlemen. I obsess over wrestling so much, I ain't got to. We got Mick Foley's going to be there. Jacob Snake's going to be there. Tugboat's going to be there. Enzo More's going to be there.
We got Shane Douglas and Francine.
Francine making her ACW debut. That's a big deal to me. Like Francine, the Queen of Extreme, making her ACW debut. We got the ACW undisputed heavyweight champion, Kayne and Christopher. He is set to defend the title. Still waiting to figure out the opponent on that. We have
our referee is down.
Oh, referee's down. Oh yeah.
And the children are trying to render aid as best they can.
We got one big match signed so far on that Cincinnati debut. We got Enzo Amore against Carson Drake, who is the current reigning and defending NWA TV champion. Super excited about that one. Matt Riddle will be in action. Shane Douglas will be in action. And we're just waiting for some more match announcements, and as soon as we get that stuff booked, we're going to let you guys know. And as we wrap this thing up, thank you guys so much for checking out our product. It's this is a dream come true for me and Nikki to be able to do stuff like this.
Yes, and this was an amazing show, and thank you for joining us, and be sure that you say hello to us when you see us at number 3 coming up in 2025.
Yes, big announcement about the date of First Friday Fights 2025 coming soon. Thank you guys for checking us out.